Exactly a week ago, I accidentally stumbled on the most powerful self improvement strategy I've ever experienced. See, I'm a very inquisitive person. I think about things a lot. I don't talk much, but I observe and watch. And I often have a lot of questions spinning around in my head that I don't know the answer to, that I'm curious about. And so a week ago, I decided to Google something that's been on my mind for a long time. It was just a social dynamics question. I wanted to know if people perceive me the same way I perceive them, basically. And I typed into Google, and you know how it has that AI overview thing. If you click on it, it turns into like an AI chat. Well, I clicked on that and started chatting with the AI about it and was asking questions. It was answering them. It would then ask follow-up questions that would then lead me down different paths. And it just became this rabbit hole that I went down for about 4 hours and learned so much, so many truths that could be backed up by psychological studies and actual proof, but were contradicting my view of the world and the way I was brought up. So I was hooked. I got addicted to learning these new liberating truths. A thought would pop into my head and I would just jump on AI. I ended up getting the app, the Gemini app, and just ask the question. Like, for instance, one that popped into my head the other day was, is it my responsibility to correct someone's bad behavior when they are doing something I don't like? Let's say it's my friend or my partner. And no, it is not my responsibility. And that has been extensively proven through psychological research and studies and articles, and AI can show you all that. And that was completely against what I had learnt. I thought it was the loving and compassionate thing to try and save people and teach them to be better. But in most cases, as the studies show, it isn't. The best thing you can do is select people in the first place that behave in a way that you like. That's just an example of some of the things I've been learning. And so I started down this path because I was actually trying to improve my confidence and my social skills. So I was looking up stuff about that. But it quickly turned into learning about becoming a truly secure person who cannot have their self value affected by other people. That true confidence means you have intrinsic value, and it doesn't matter if someone treats you disrespectfully, you don't then spiral and say, well, I guess I'm not worth as much as I thought I was. So I was learning things like that, and that is part of being a high value person. High value is all encompassing, it's an identity. It's not just that you're confident or that you have high value in yourself. It's an all encompassing lifestyle and an identity, which then led me to look at my own habits. I had no intention of changing my habits before last week. I had no intention of even starting this journey. It just happened. But I started looking at my habits like alcohol consumption. For the past few years, I've pretty much had a few drinks every night because it helps me wind down, it takes the edge off, and it's a stress reliever. Not a good stress reliever, and I knew it was unhealthy, but my viewpoint, and this is a direct quote of how I used to think, I was like, my life is too depressing not to drink every day. Isn't that sad? But that's how I actually used to think. But I think it was day 3 of this week, I cut out alcohol. I'm not drinking it anymore. I still plan to drink it on special occasions or if I go out for dinner or something, but drinking it regularly, drinking it every night, no, not doing that anymore. I stopped social media completely. I deleted YouTube. YouTube was my biggest vice. I haven't for a long time had a big issue with wasting time on social media, but YouTube definitely. My biggest vice and time waster was eating food and watching YouTube. That was my safe place. But I was wasting so much time on it. And I realized that and I was like, that's not high value behavior. So I'm not going to do it anymore. And I haven't done it for like 4 days, which might not sound like a lot, but to me, that's huge. I didn't think I was going to be able to actually break that habit. And I'm just starting to look at things through the lens of, is this helping me or hurting me? Is it making me perform better or perform worse? And if it's worse, then it's got to go. I even put my phone on grayscale. My whole phone's black and white all the time now. It's supposed to make the phone less enticing to look at. The colors aren't brilliant or anything. So that's been good. It still surprises me every time I turn it on, but I think it is helping. But I haven't done a complete dopamine detox. I still watch TV pretty much every night with my partner. She works a lot, so she likes it as a wind down. So I've been doing that. But it hasn't sent me into a spiral of just binging TV. And also, to be honest, I've still just been on my phone learning stuff, even when the TV's on. So it's fine. Coincidentally, I actually started running about 4 weeks ago, which has helped my cardio a lot. But I noticed this week cutting out those bad habits like alcohol and also drinking more water. That's something I've picked up too. I'm drinking 4 liters of water a day. My results from running have just compounded, and my energy and drive has gone through the roof this week. I've never felt better in my life. I started having better workouts and focusing more on my form and doing things properly and feeling better in the gym and feeling better about how I look. And that's helped. My confidence has gone up heaps this week. And that has moved me to engage with people and interact with people in the world, which has actually brought friendships and opportunities to my door, literally to my door. I had a parcel delivered the other day that had a handwritten note on it telling me about a job opportunity. Because a few days earlier, I spoke to the delivery girl when she brought a parcel. I'm looking for work at the moment, and I was interested in her job and how she got it. And I had a chat with her, and evidently she brought the parcel this time and she put a note on it telling me about a job opportunity. Like, that's crazy. An opportunity delivered to my door, literally. Also, I reconnected with an old childhood friend this week. I've seen him in public a few times, but I always avoid him because there's a bit of a messy past there. But I saw him in the gym actually, and I was really nervous, but I went up to him, I said hi, and it went really well. We are friends again. We got each other's number. We're going to hang out. And that's so valuable to me and didn't think it would ever happen. Another incredible thing has been that I have no idea what's happening in the world. I don't know what's happening with Iran. I don't know what's happening with Australian politics or the economy, and I love it. Not having that distraction is so good. Just being completely oblivious to what's going on out there because I can't do anything about it. So I don't want to know about it. The other incredible thing is that my senses have adapted to my new lifestyle. So cutting out all that dopamine it's changed the way I look at things, and I'm getting more joy out of simple things. I mean, for instance, I took my phone off grayscale this morning because wanted to look at an old progress photo of my physique from years ago, and I wanted it in color. So I turned my phone back onto color, and man, the colors were so vibrant. Those oranges and reds. I almost had to squint. It was so brilliant. That was really cool. Just being able to see how your brain adapts and resets those dopamine levels when you cut it out. What else have I got here? I've started viewing things how they are, not how I want them to be. So, for instance, I was in the gym yesterday, had a really good workout, had a really good pump going, and the gym was completely dead for about 15 minutes. There was no one in there except me, probably because it was Saturday night and people actually have lives. But I was actually able to look at my physique without looking like an arrogant person. And I was like, man, I look good. I like the way I look. I've worked really hard to build this amount of muscle, and I'm really happy with what I've accomplished. And I was just like, why do I feel like that? Why this week? Why have I never felt like that before? Why this week am I feeling like that? And I thought about it and I was like, could it be that I'm not seeing highly edited, airbrushed photos of super jacked guys that always have perfect lighting and are always super lean and are apparently natural, and I'm not comparing myself to that anymore? Could that be why? I don't know. But it's been a really nice side effect of this week. And I think the reason the changes have been so big this week is that I'm starting to realize that the world can be how I want it to be. I don't have to accept other people's reality. I can hold myself to a higher standard and want more out of life. It's not wrong for me to want to be super fit and to have amazing relationships and have a group of friends that share the desire for a high value life like I do. That's not wrong and it's not unrealistic. I'm learning that the world doesn't have to be this thing that beats you into submission and grinds you down. You can actually work with the world instead of against it because there's opportunities everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's opportunities, and all you have to do is act on them. I've also realized that I've lived the first 30 years of my life in an alternate reality, a reality that I didn't choose, that I didn't construct. It was constructed by my parents and my religion and my friends, and by my insecurities, and by me looking at people, observing other people, and going, oh, okay, that's reality. That's my future. Learning that you don't have to accept those realities. You can look into things yourself and realize that things can be good. They can be really good, but you have to head in the right direction and you have to know where to go. It's also been amazing learning that I'm not weird or crazy. Just being able to have a place where I can just unload my weird thoughts, like into the Gemini app. You just ask the most random, strangest question that you might be completely embarrassed to ask someone else, and it'll just spit out an answer that is not put through the filter of trauma or insecurity or the way it was brought up, because it's just an AI. It's just objective answers based off statistics and data and studies. And sometimes gets things wrong. It hasn't actually gotten anything majorly wrong with me, only a few like wording mistakes. And whenever I've thought it's wrong, I ask it to back it up with studies, and it always does. But we are pretty lucky to live in a time where we can just have this space where we can just talk uninhibited and sort through our thoughts. Like, that is pretty cool. I don't know how many people are using it for that. I never thought I would, but it works for me. I will say I'm not a big fan of AI in general. I don't like that it threatens people's jobs. I don't like that there's AI slop all over the internet. But I think, like with most things, they can be used for good and they can be used for bad. And I think AI is one of them. I also should say that I'm not saying you should use AI as your therapist. I'm not medically trained in any way. And I'm not saying you should do what I did. I'm just telling you what I did. If you have any mental health concerns, definitely go see a doctor or a therapist or a medical practitioner. Absolutely, go do that. I'm just telling you what I've done. And yeah, it's only been a week. I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if I'm just riding a high, but I have had times in my life where I've been really locked into self development, where I'm consuming all the podcasts and the books and the videos and everything, and it did help my productivity and my positivity. But every one of those times, I was always worried about running out of motivation and fuel. I'm not worried about this. That I'm not worried about that this time. I feel very stable. What was I going to say here? I feel stable because this week has not been ideal in any way. I got rejected for a job that I really wanted and I really thought I was going to get. I had a terrible interaction with a gym bro in the car park. He slammed his door into my car, my new car. I had a massive project for our business that went terribly, just went wrong at every turn. It has not been an ideal week at all, but I've just been quietly chipping away, getting everything done that I have to, getting all my workouts in, my calories, my water, my cardio, cutting out the bad stuff like the dopamine and the alcohol. I feel stable. I feel like this is sustainable. I've never felt like that before. And like the pretty much every night I've wanted to have a drink. The desire is still there, but I'm just like, I know it's bad for me. I don't want to have a puffy face in the morning. I don't want it to affect my workouts. It's low value behavior to drink every single night, so I don't want to do it anymore. And YouTube, even this morning, I wanted to watch YouTube while I have my breakfast, but I was like, nah, I'm not that person anymore. My identity has changed. I'm just doing me. I'm just now doing the things that align with who I am. So I'm not relying on motivation. I'm just doing the things that align with my new identity, I guess, which is probably why it feels very stable and sustainable. And finally, yesterday, getting very close to the end of the week, I had to go to the chemist and buy some tablets, which is like the most boring thing ever. But I was driving to the chemist and I'm singing in the car and feeling great. I'm walking around the chemist with a smile on my face, and I'm like, why am I smiling right now? Oh, I must be happy. Is this what happy is? And after that, I went to the gym, had an amazing workout, and then got home, took the dogs for a run. And when I was on that run, I was like, this feels like a dream. Like I'm waiting for something bad to happen because this feels so good. Like I'm getting fitter. I like the way I look. I'm getting more confident. I'm making friends. I'm enjoying the things I'm doing throughout the day, not because they're super exciting, but because they are things that make me happy and that align with who I am. And last night on that run, for the first time in my life, I realized I can actually be happy and have an amazing life. Before I'm rich and super successful. I don't want to say even if I don't, because I think that's negative, but I say before I'm rich and successful, I can be happy. Before I have the mansion, before I have the perfect relationship and the circle of awesome friends, I can be happy now and have an amazing life now. And that is the biggest and most powerful realization of this whole experience, is that I don't have to worry about what if YouTube doesn't work? What if I'm stuck in a day job till I'm 70 and I retire and grow old and die? Which, by the way, is 90% of people's reality. But I don't have to worry about that because I know my life can be amazing regardless. And I also think the more you pursue these high value behaviors, the less likely it becomes that you're going to have that life where you're stuck in a day job doing what you hate and having no money and having a boring life. That becomes less likely the more you pursue these high value behaviors, because you are gaining skills, you're accepting opportunities, you're looking for opportunities, and you're creating them. And people are drawn to high value people. And the people that you draw are also high value. So, but let's say everything goes wrong, you have bad luck, and you do get stuck in a day job till the day you die. Doesn't matter, because you can be happy still. And that was the biggest realization for me, that I don't actually have to stress. I just keep doing the work, like making my YouTube videos and going to the gym, doing the right things. And if everything works out the way I want, that's awesome. If it doesn't, I can still be happy and have an awesome life. And I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm living the dream. I'm very happy. And I want to say too, my situation hasn't changed at all this week. I still have the same amount of money. I'm in the same house, I have the same car, the same relationship. Nothing has changed but my mindset. But everything has changed because of my mindset. It's awesome. I'm very excited about what's going to happen next. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. See you next time.